Here we go. So it's kind of makeshifty a little bit. But hey, this is the T-Dawg channel. Oh no! I hope I didn't hit my mic. If I did, I'm sorry. Man, embarrassing. I apologize. I didn't mean to hurt your ears if I did. But I agree. It seems like it's really scary looking because it's really weak, just individually by itself. But as a group, I imagine it could be pretty dangerous. We don't really get to see what its ability is per se, besides just floating. I'm gonna have to do some research to see what kind of bug it's based off of, especially like the lower part. Kind of reminds me of like a centipede or something, a millipede, but who's to say for sure? That's something I'm gonna have to look at. I do like these little guys over here, whatever that is. Yeah, it does look like a leech. That's one thing I've noticed with some of the monsters, the newer monsters. They really are sticking away from world where everything was scaly, everything was some kind of dragon to some extent. Um, from like the Wraths to Pookie Pookie, stuff like that, to Tobikadachi, where they're all kind of scaly, they all kind of look reptilian esque. And sure, there's stuff like Baroth and stuff like that, but just base world, there was a lot of just kind of similar looking creatures. So I like that they're kind of doing the exact opposite, where there's a lot of more abstract designs. There is they're not afraid to go out the box. It seems, and I really like that a lot. These little guys, I can't wait to capture. Have them, or no, looks like having our homes, stuff like that. I imagine they're still going to be homes, right? So that is the Ajarikan armor. That is the Dashiguma armor. No idea what that is. Looks like just like metal. But I am very excited to see NERSCYLLA. Look at that. Look at that beautiful underside. Just a vibrant red. Oh yeah, like what's it called? Like Somacanth or whatever? Somacanth? I haven't played the game in a long while. But with the new gen technology, you can really see even the fur on it. It has like little not fur, it has little hairs on it, which is realistic with a lot of spiders. They have hairs along their arms, along their thorax. That way it's their sensory organs essentially, from what I understand. And then you can also see the Gyptro skin hanging right off. I am curious though if eventually, maybe with whatever the eventual DLC will be, whether it's like kind of like an Iceborne thing where it's a whole new continent, or with Rise, it's just another part of the same continent. I wonder if maybe they're gonna have a subspecies of NERSCYLLA, where it is NERSCYLLA is I believe has some subspecies. I'm pretty sure, right? I imagine so. I can't remember on top of my head though. Yeah, shrouded NERSCYLLA. It's dark and gray with white stripes. And it wears a Urkezu hide. So I wonder if they're gonna kind of stick with having monsters return maybe Kezu. I personally don't really like Kezu as a monster. It's cool and all. I mean, it's just I really prefer Giganox over Kezu. Yeah, Monster Hunter spiders are really weird. They really are weird. They seem to have their own sense of I don't know. If I had to, the best way to maybe explain it is they're not afraid to make them really alien like. Is in a lot of portrayal, spiders, especially really big ones in media, kind of seem they're kind of shown as foreign enemies. It's like really out of the box. They're not human esque. They're not something that we will recognize, and so that's why they're inherently scary. Especially with like in mythology and stuff like that. And so I like that they kind of play into that. Okay, so Gypsros is going to be in the Ice Shard Cliffs as well. And we can actually see it being covered up by NERSCYLLA. So that's probably the turf war right there. They meet up, have a big old like puffing out their chest moment, like rah, and then it gets covered up. Gypsros flashes it, and then they kind of separate. Now, they didn't cover this, whatever this is, just by the size. I'm gonna say this is probably the apex, whatever this is. Like, what even is this, bro? Like, look at that, bro. It looks like it's also Leviathan. So I don't see any eyes. Maybe that could be an eye. It could be also a thing where these things, the Hirabami, kind of congregate around this, whatever this creature is, this ice worm. So what is it covering? So just another Hirabami. Okay. Hold up. Don't kick me out of this. Do not kick me out of this, bro. Come on. I get it. I've been covering this a while. I'm gonna make a mainline video about this before like the other YouTubers pop up with their clickbait and stuff like, "Oh my god, guys, new monster showing up." Yeah, so its mandibles seem to kind of split off. There's a top portion, maybe like a beak, and there's little three mandibles that kind of extend. They have some kind of like webbing in between, or just like loose skin. It has arms. There's arms too. Yeah, so it is a leviathan probably. Well, to be fair, I've been aware of these for a long while now. I try to make it a point to not talk about them, just because I hate to be someone that spoils things for others, even when I know. So there is a subreddit r/Monster Hunter Leaks where the majority of the game, from what I understand, has been data mined by people like overseas or whatever, right? Um, from what I understand, certain monsters had that were shown in this were already data mined and they were already shown to have been in the game. And so I'm not surprised that people were speculating about it. That's kind of why I kind of make fun of other Monster Hunter YouTubers, where their speculation, their quote unquote speculation, their thoughts and their theories, they're really just biting off the data mines and just kind of just playing it off as if it's not. And personally, I think it's very scummy. Even if I do know a thing or two, I'm not gonna make it a whole thing where I clickbait it, I show it off in the thumbnails, just over and over and over and over and over again. Because someone who doesn't want to see the leaks, I don't want them being spoiled. And me personally, I've been spoiled by things in the past for previous games with Monster Hunter and stuff, and I don't want to do that to anybody else. And I think other bigger YouTubers should hold themselves to that same standard, but they won't because it's content. I get it. It's the field. It's the media. Whatever, right? Um, but from what I did see, there was something about like a Leviathan-esque monster that has like these back designs because it's like on like a piece of parchment paper in the game, from what I understand. But anything more than that, I did not really investigate because I like knowing things. I like knowing what's going on, but I also do. I don't want to come into the game pretending that I don't know things and just being disingenuous. You know. But I am very happy that Gormagala is back. Yeah, I I kind of like the. I want to think that this game is the spiritual successor for Monster Hunter 3. I mean, sorry, Monster Hunter 4 in a sense, where I'm kind of noticing they have a little bit of 3 in there. They have a little bit of 4. They might throw in some things from Generations as well, maybe just mechanics or just design wise. Like I've noticed that there's some design bits of the planes that kind of look like the ancestral step from Monster Hunter. I think that's Generations. Or is that for ancestral step? I think that's 4. Yeah, a little bit. So it's 4. Definitely. There's some design motifs with it, especially with like the lighting and the abundance of yellows. It has some dune to it. It has some like arid, plainsy kind of areas that kind of look like the best way I'm trying to think of it in like the real world setting. I apologize. Is like kind of like the plains of Africa to some extent. And I wouldn't be surprised if whenever the art book comes out, they talk about it. Like, yeah, we took designs from like these arid regions in the world, stuff like that. Plains map, Monster Hunter Wild. Yeah, so kind of like that. Yeah, the Sahara. Great point. Great point. That's immediately what I kind of noticed. Right, similar kind of trees, but it's just their version of it essentially. But I'm gonna clip this part up and eventually post it as either like a short or just I'm gonna throw it in one of my future videos. But I do eventually want to talk about the leaks just as a whole, just kind of addressing it. Um, I do maybe like when the game comes out, I can do like a bingo thing where it's like, hey, what did the people get right? What did they not get right? Kind of thing. But again, I really I'm still debating on it because I don't want to spoil things. But maybe if enough people want to maybe you want to talk about it or whatever, I can do like a little stream where we kind of go over it and discuss it.
Here. The Keeper's village should be right through there.
Hey, yo, check this out. Chains. Chains, chains, chains. So, one thing I've noticed about Arkveld is that it has the looks like a very similar skeleton to Gormagala itself. I wouldn't be surprised if it is the same skeleton. They look very, very similar, right? And the chains on its wings, in my opinion, don't look natural at all. Looks like webs, you say? Yeah, yeah. There's some webs, but I don't know. It's just some of that stuff is very spirally too. You know, like these are webs, right? These are webs right here. But what is this? You know, you see what I mean? Webs here, and then whatever these are, these don't look natural, and they kind of spiral up, and they kind of and see. There's a huge one right here. There's a massive one right there. Like these are webs here, but these in my opinion look like chains as well to some extent, a little bit. I could be I could be smoking something, right? But I feel like this might play into arc build. So far of it, we've seen that it invades other places. It's kind of like Gormagala in that sense, where it could be pretty much any map at any time, whenever it feels like it. But the ice shard cliff, whatever, could be where it actually resides at. It makes sense. It's big. It's warm, probably. It has fur, and its like whiter color would also fit in with the camouflage as well.
Is that monster absorbing its energy?
The reason I'm kind of taking the whole chains thing a little bit seriously is, I mean, that looks like it's natural right there, but also it kind of looks like there's energy imbuing them. But personally, I, from what I believe so far, is it seems like their Capcom as a whole is returning back to the focus of the ancient civilization. In the first few couple games, they were really having it be a big thing when it comes to like the background lore, right? A lot of the stuff now has been deemed non-canon with like the ultimate weapon and stuff like that. And then like there's like a giant tower made of like Kushala Daora Shala Tower. But I feel like lately they're kind of going back to that, right? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, the tower. Like in the lore, this was made out of Kushalas, like thousands of them. And that's kind of why eventually Fatalis came down. Was like, hey, let me put a stop to this. You got to chill it out, buddy. But I think they're gonna kind of go back to that, where the ancient civilization has a big part in the story, especially with like, in my mind, the oil well basin. The oil well basin has a lot of human design into it. Like, I'll go real quick. Uh, Living world. Okay. Whatever. Whatever. Like this. Like these are man-made pipes. Hey, bro, they just updated it. Oh man, because I check this like every day. I'll be honest with you. Like that is some kind of furnace thing. Like very clearly like rusted. This is part of that one town, I believe, but again, looks like an ancient furnace that's been there for so long that it's kind of calcified. So personally, I mean, if you disagree, let me know. I'm not gonna be like you're wrong, but just I feel like a big thing with this is that they're kind of going back to the past. They're kind of retouching this with a modern viewpoint on it. Like one thing with modern Monster Hunter and like the society that Monster Hunter has is that it's like technology is being reclaimed, right? Where a lot of the older stuff is from a bygone era, but with like the help of the guild and stuff, we're getting some of this new technology back slowly with like the switch axe and then the charge blade, weapons like that. Also the Dragonators. The Dragonators are from a previous time, but then they were just kind of repurposed for modern day settings. And we see that with like Castle Shrade and Fatalis. Now, I don't think. I mean, I personally don't remember on top of my head if Fatalis like led an army or whatever. Like I don't. I think from what I understand, what happened is that there's just an abnormally strong Fatalis, and I guess it was just pissed by humanity and the Wyverians as a whole. And then that one Fatalis, which then became the White Fatalis, kind of just said, "Hey, let's take off the boxing gloves. We're no longer sparring." Mm, yeah, the tower, Castle Shrade. Um, yeah, Dalmadur is ridiculously is stupidly strong though. I don't think it's gonna show up in this game. I don't think so. I feel like it'd be way too much of an investment for the modern setting. But I would like it. I would like it though. But I just don't think so. No, I might be wrong, bro. I actually don't see it. I don't see anything about it. Uh, I thought it was like an older Fatalis, and it was kind of like rumored to be the original, but it might not be. Yeah, I don't see it. Never mind. Well, it was called the Ancestral Dragon, but I don't know. It might not be. Yeah, there's nothing here. Okay, yeah, this is very interesting though. Yeah, the ultimate dragon weapon. I first started playing Monster Hunter back with the third game. That was the first. That was the my series introduction. Uh, ultimate dragon weapon or whatever. Ultimate dragon weapon. And I remember it being a huge thing back when I first played, when it was like, what, 2012, 2013 when it came out? And I always thought this thing was just insane. I didn't think it was real, but as like, how old was I? 2013? I was like 10, right? I thought that was a crazy thing. Because look at this. This is just absurd. The only way that this thing could be canon would be if Monster Hunter takes like a grimdark kind of take on the universe, where it's a lot darker. Yeah, yeah. The only way I think it could survive modern day Monster Hunter is if there's like a spin-off where it's like things are a lot darker. Maybe they kind of play more into like alchemy and stuff, and like, I don't know, magic or whatever. But the horns kind of look similar though. It could just be reaching. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I felt like it was something that was unnatural. Whatever this is. Yeah. Gypsaros. This is definitely something that's not natural. 100%. You see what I mean? I don't even know what this is though. I have no idea, bro. I have no idea at all. I mean, it kind of looks like wiring or like those like metal cables, those like metal cable threads. Yeah, these things. Wire rope. Yeah, 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 maybe like a factory or something. That looks more natural. I don't know. Because that still looks like a chain, right? That looks like a chain. These look like either wires or maybe just roots from something. I feel like I've just been kind of yapping. But to kind of make it known, I feel like Arkveld, our boy, the legend itself, Arkveld, is somehow related to Gormagala in some extent. Whether it is like a split off of its like evolutionary line, maybe, or something. Or like they could have had a common ancestor at some point, and then maybe instead of having the frenzy virus, it's whatever maybe this is potentially. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe Arkveld is kind of related, and then the ancient civilization was like, hey, let's use this power. Let's use it for something. Maybe for infinite energy. Maybe for experiments. Maybe just for the betterment of society. They're like, hey, let's try to contain this thing. Let's chain it, and then maybe eventually something went wrong. Um, and now maybe this is the last of its species as well, and it's just kind of getting revenge. Yeah, again, I do think this is pretty interesting though. Like, notice the horn. Again, I could be smoking something. Maybe. Eh. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like a one for one, but I'm curious as to why Gormagala would show up, right? In Rise, it was never really explained as to why it showed up, but it's also a spin-off game. It's just there to be kind of gimmicky. It's to be there to kind of be fun. It's to kind of experiment with new ideas ahead of time. Like the Palamutes walked so the Sacreds could run. And so I feel like Gormagala is there for a reason. We've seen in the past that it's pretty smart. And also, this guy, this guy, I am 100% convinced that this is like the ace Lancer guy. Like, look, bro, this is him. This is him. This is him. This is just him. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Bro, that's him. It's just him in the future. Same weapon, same shield, similar armor. Is that I have a friend offline that we often discuss Monster Hunter, and I was convinced that since we have the Ace Cadet there, he's in the world, Aiden or whatever his name is. That I was thinking that this guy is him. And then we also see a darker skinned lady in the first trailer that I was thinking could be the gunner, but that also could just be our character as well. I have a little YouTube extension to make it a little bit faster. Wrong trailer. It's the announcement trailer. Maybe not. I could have swore. I'm thinking. I'm trying to remember where this is at. For the amount of times I've watched these trailers, you would think I would just know. Yo, what is that? Ugh. Bro, what is that? I didn't even notice that. Ooh, that's not my boy Hiccup. That's Stutter. Jeez Louise. Right, is this just our hunter? Yeah, that's just our hunter. Never mind. I was 100% wrong on that. All right, gamers. Well, I think for now that is it. I'm gonna go ahead, kind of compile everything. I'm gonna make a video and release it sometime today, maybe tomorrow. Again, I want to get all my information right. I don't want to just spout nonsense, but I think you can see where I'm going with this, right? How my brain's working on this, how I'm cooking. Hey, but attractive arachnid gonna cause a racket. I appreciate you. This is like my first live stream where I had an active chat goer, and so I thank you. I appreciate you. You're like my first ever chatter that that you and I have had a conversation with. And so, you're the goat. I appreciate you so much. If I do make any VODs or anything of this live stream, I'm gonna shout you out. I appreciate you again. You have a wonderful day, my friend. Thank you for tuning in.